Alright, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to move everything over from an internal drive to an external drive. Now I've already done a video on this before, but again something happened to it. It got all out of sync. So I'm making a new and improved one. And I must apologize in advance. I'm a little under the weather right now, so probably going to sound funny. So anyways, so you just bought that new 1 TB external drive because your internal drive is getting full. So you're wondering, how do we move everything over from the internal drive to the external drive and still have all our crates show up in Scratch Live? So you don't have to sit there and redo all your crates that you spent countless hours setting up and organizing. I'm going to be going through and demonstrating how to do this. It can be a little tricky, but it's not too bad. There's two parts of this that you need to do in order for this to work. The first thing is you need to copy all your crate files over from your internal drive to your external drive. And then the second part is copying the actual songs from the internal drive to the external drive. So we're going to take a look at this in two parts. Let's look at the first part, and that is copying all the crate files over from the internal drive to the external drive. Now, crate files are stored in your Scratch Live folder located in your My Music folder on a PC or your Music folder in a Mac. And you have another folder in here called Scratch Live, and if we go in here, it should look familiar to you. These are where all your crate files are stored, specifically in the subcrate folder. Both crates and subcrates and sub-subcrates, etc. are stored in the subcrate folder, not the crate folder. The crate folder is only for legacy purposes now, for versions 1.6 and below. Versions 1.7 and above use the subcrate folder for storing all crates and subcrates. But anyway, so what we need to do is copy the Scratch Live folder in your My Music folder on the internal drive, and we need to copy that to the external drive. So highlight the folder, right click, copy, or Control plus C is the keyboard shortcut, and we're going to copy that folder and then go back up to my computer and then find your external drives icon, which is this one right here, the E drive, and you want to go onto the root level of the external drive. And then we just need to simply paste the Scratch Live folder that we copied from the internal drive onto the root level of the external drive. Now, after you paste it, you need to rename this folder to something else. So right click it and rename, or you can just click the file once to rename it. So you just need to add an underscore to the beginning and to the end of the name. So the folder should be called underscore Scratch Live underscore. It has to be named this, or else it's not going to work right. So make sure you rename the folder to underscore Scratch Live underscore. Okay, so that was the first part. Now we have all the crate files copied over. Now let's open Scratch Live now, just to see something. Now when you open Scratch Live, you should see all your crate files still here. And just for example, I'm going to be doing a couple crates and a couple files. Now you may notice now that you're going to have doubles of each of your songs, because it is reading the crate files from both the internal drive and the external drive. It's thinking you should have 2 copies of every song. And you'll notice here, if you add the location column in your crates, right here, if you add that, you'll notice that you'll have one listing under C drive, which is the internal drive, then you have another listing under E drive, and that is the external drive. Okay, so the crates are still showing up, right? So if we go into the setup menu, and I'm using the version 1.83, go to the library tab and click on rescan ID3 tags. That will rescan all the files, and then you're going to notice now that all the songs on the external drive listings, that is the songs on the E drive, are going to be pink and missing like this, because we have not moved the files yet over from the internal drive to the external drive. All of them are going to be pink and missing like here in your crates. So let's exit out of Scratch Live. And now we don't want to back up the library. So we have to move the music files over from the internal drive to the external drive. Now the caveat here is you have to put them in the same folder path that they were on the external drive, or on an internal drive. And you have to recreate the same folder path. Now, this is where it can get a little tricky for some people. So go to the folder where you store your music files. And mine is going to be just in the My Music folder also. I have this folder right here called Songs. Now this up here is the path to the songs. It's C drive, Documents and Settings, Administrator, My Documents, My Music. This is the folder structure we have to recreate on the external drive, and we have to put this songs folder into this folder path. So what does that mean? Okay, so I'm just going to leave this window open. Let me scroll down. Let me open the external drive in a new window. Okay, so here we are back on the root level of the external drive. So what we have to do is recreate this folder path up here. Documents and settings, administrator, my documents, my music. So on the external drive, you have to make a new folder, and you got to name it documents and settings. Okay, go into that folder, make another new folder, and it has to be named administrator. It has to be the name, whatever your name is. It's probably not going to be administrator, but for my example, it's going to be administrator. Replace this whatever your username is, then go into this folder, make another new folder titled my documents, go into this folder, and finally recreate a new folder titled my music. Alright, now finally go into this folder now, and as you can see here, you see the file path, C drive, documents and settings, administrator, my documents, my music. It has to be the same down here. E drive, which is the external drive, documents and settings, administrator, my documents, my music. Okay, so now we had the folder paths identical. Now we need to copy this folder. This is where all my songs are, in this folder right here. So we're just going to right click this folder, copy, and we'll go to the external drive, and we're going to paste this folder on here. See, as I said, I'm only doing a couple songs and crates for sake of example. You know, for copying hundreds of gigabytes of files, you know, this is going to take, you know, an hour or two or whatever. So just for sake of example, I'm only copying a couple songs. And yes, I'm doing this slow because I'm running this in VMware Fusion right now on my Mac, actually. Okay, so it's copying. Almost there. Okay, so now we have the songs copied over to the external drive. Now, cue points, loops, BPMs, overviews, all that is stored in the files themselves. So as long as you're copying the original songs from the internal drive to the external drive, you don't have to worry about that. All the cue points and loops and all that stuff will copy over with the files. So now, let's open Scratch Live one more time now. And we should still see all our songs both on the internal drive, as you can see up here, the C drive songs, and then the E drive songs down here are the ones on the external, and they are still pink and with a question mark. So you have to go into the set menu again and rescan. Actually, no, we're gonna rescan 93 tags this time, and you should see, there we go. Yes, now the songs are no longer pink and missing. And if we go to try and load one of these songs up, if I can just give it a second, hold on. There we go. Okay, so load a song now, and if it loads in the offline player, it'll work. So you just want to go through and load a couple to make sure it does, but if you follow this guide correctly, then I guarantee it'll work. So now we got to get rid of all the internal drive songs now, unless you really want a backup. But I'm sure you don't want that, because that was the whole point, because you're running out of room on your internal drive. So after you verified that the songs are now working correctly on the external drive, let's close out of Scratch Live, and then you can go ahead and delete all the songs on your internal drive. And to get rid of all the double listings of the songs, you need to go back into your My Music folder on the internal drive, and let us just rename this Scratch Live folder. I don't want to delete it, just in case, you know, for whatever reasons you need to have a backup or whatever, even though there's already another Scratch Live backup folder in here. Just rename the Scratch Live folder on the internal drive to whatever. We're just going to call it Scratch Live Old. And this basically will prevent the program from reading this folder and stop reading the internal drive crates. So if you load Scratch Live one more time now, we're not going to see doubles anymore. You're just going to have all the songs on the external drive and none of the songs on the internal drive. And again, if you just add the location column to your crates, and there you go. It will only have songs from the E drive now, and no songs from the C drive. And so again, just go ahead and just to triple check, just go ahead and load the songs up, and if they load to the offline player, it's going to work. So basically, yep, that's it. That's how you move all your crates and songs over from the internal drive to that new external drive you just bought.